Alrighty, good morning, guys. Let's get into it. It's Wednesday. We're a day before inflation numbers. We get CPIs tomorrow. We also have ECB doing some decision making. We obviously have had ongoing G7 meetings. We talked a little bit about Yellen convincing everyone to put the minimum 15% corporate tax in for the G7 countries, which was sort of a big deal. So there are some eyes on the ECB news, whether or not, again, they say something different than our Fed, which is inflation's transitory. We're going to keep rates at zero forever. We're going to keep putting money into the economy forever with 120 billion of asset buying right now continuing. We'll see if they give us maybe something of a, we're going to, start to decrease the amount of spending, maybe look towards a future where, again, the economy is doing well enough that we don't need these sort of things, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And it's about what's happening right this moment, right? I pulled up sort of, we can call it a nice little graph here of the major indices, which are your three lines down here, your S&P, Nasdaq, Dow Jones. Nasdaq obviously falling behind. This is year to date, so this is from the start of the year. Blue line down here, Nasdaq is up just over 7%, S&P 13, Dow 13. And then what I want to show you here, this is small cap value. So again, just the value tickers of the small cap, the Russell 2000. This is the IWN, which again, it's IWM as we think about it, the ETF of Russell 2000, but just the value tickers. That's up 32% this year so far. And then still the leading sector in the market is energy, oil, right? Oil is up technically more than what XLE is up here, but we use XLE because it's, again, major companies that we can look at. That's up 47%. So 32%, 47%. It's important to, again, realize what exactly is happening here. And maybe this will help, right? When I say the same thing over and over, and especially when we have so much action going on right now, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of money that can be made, but it's such short term, right? It's such a short moment that you can make money. And a lot of those, again, are tied to sort of the tech side. There's the Nasdaq, right? Not much has happened, has it? Comparatively to here, this is more than double, triple, quadruple the gain, right? There's a reason why we're in the positions we're in, and we're going to continue to push them. So take a look at that, and then also take into mind what's going to be happening here Thursday with CPI numbers. Those are questions that, again, we can see the numbers, but depending on your opinion of whether you think inflation is going to be transitory and be short-lived, or if you think it's going to be into the future and prices are going to continue to increase, you obviously need to have an opinion. And based on that, the numbers, whether they beat, miss, whatever you think, then markets are going to go a certain way. You're in position for that. It's pretty easy to look at this graph and see what people think. They think they should be in the value side of things. We'll know when that's not the case, because this Nasdaq down here, you know what it looked like before? See that? See this blue line? See how it starts to, whoa. Yeah, see how it started to kind of grow past everything else? Yeah, that's because that's sort of the number one area, right? Those tech companies continue to grow. Now, the one thing that you can put into perspective here, now we're not even on the year, is that you look at something like Google, right? And Google has been doing phenomenally well. It's the ticker that's leading really this year. And so that's that purple line up here. That's actually beating energy right now. If you look at it, that's an important thing to note, because I've talked about this quite a bit, that is the chart that we are most sort of bullish on, alongside Microsoft for its acquisition sort of prowess. And it's something that needs to continue to be thought about, this M&A side of things. And we've been talking about it with things like, again, AT&T Discovery merger. Again, the MGM being bought by Amazon, whatever you want to look at. These are important factors to think about because we saw it very sort of much, at least the occurrence happening a lot more during last year, and it's continued to happen now. And the thought of it is happening more because, again, you have things like Google that exist that at the end of the day, they are where they are because they've acquired every single kind of competition. They have more cash than is known to man, right? Each have over $200 billion worth of cash, just actual liquid cash, and they can do anything. Even though when we look at those averages, right, we look at the Nasdaq, maybe down, the 5 mega caps are not. The only case is, again, Apple and Amazon. Do you think that Apple and Amazon are not going to catch up, right? No, they're going to probably catch up. And so, again, this is the place right now that it's at a low that you can take advantage of, but you still need to understand that those leaders are what you can still take advantage of and should continue to push and look to continue to acquire because they are the best. It's like saying I'm not going to buy anything on the energy side because it's already gone up 55% this year. Does that make sense when we continue to make money on it? That doesn't make sense, does it? We continue to push it. It's up over $70 a barrel today. I thought fossil fuels were bad and going away, right? That's not why we buy it. That's not the point. By buying it, it doesn't make someone die because of fossil fuels. It doesn't mean you don't like clean energy, right? That's not what it means. But it does mean that there's money on the table we need to continue to buy, and at least is an area that does not get affected by this opinion, right? If you have an opinion on inflation and what it means for the equity market, it's at least the area that does not get any volatility from that. It's not getting affected, right? Now, the area that is most directly linked with inflation and the question of interest rates is banks, and banks have continuously been a straight line. And this is the most obvious sort of side of things that we've talked about quite a bit. This needs to continue to be looked at and be a part of everything because it technically is everything here. Again, if interest rates change, that's good for banks. And even if they don't, what's happening now with this sort of boom of the economy, it's good for banks as well, right? There's a risk-on mentality in the world that's good for banks. Banks like to lend loans, get things going. Basically, like I've said before, if you want to start a startup, right now is the best time to do it because anyone is going to be willing to give you money. You want to raise some money? Right now is the best time because people are giving out money like no tomorrow, right? You have normal everyday people, retail traders, doing what? They're buying every single meme stock they can. They don't care what's going on. So they're over here buying everything possible, right? And we've seen that continue. This is not just one ticker. This is across the entire market. Every single day we've seen it, right? And this sort of process doesn't really have an end date in sight. We do see things like AMC here, which we talked about, get tightening. I talked about the continuation idea. It's down 6%. It's open. Let's see what that looks like, obviously, come the day. The reality is here is that there's still a ton of potential of upside, even from retail traders. But they're really not even the ones that sort of matter here, right? It's the fact that the entire equity market, the global sort of flow is coming this way and continues to come this way, and there's nothing else to buy. That's just the truth. There's nothing else to buy. And so what do? We continue to be long in everything. But looking at just how we looked at that graph, we understand how we should be positioned and postured. So I talk about this idea of 90% of value. Your portfolio should be about 90% of value right now. The other 10% mega caps and the like. We've talked about shedding that number down, right? And you start to go from a long term to start going into a little bit more active sort of trades. We've seen, again, the commodity side sort of slow down, but it offers an opportunity to start to get more involved again, right? So things like X, right? I just updated the target from just the previous target we had, extend the lines out there. This sort of chart, we can use what we have of a smaller size of being able to swing trade, get in and out, and take advantage of the swings that happen on a chart that is, again, goes through these cycles, right? Of lows to highs because of the way in which the commodity market's working right now, right? It has slowed from its super cycle state, and due to the fact that we do have numbers coming up and that the equity market is just a better sort of buy right now, we haven't seen as much there. And so then you can just buy the equities that are linked to those, just like energy is linked to crude, right? Even though those things have slowed down, the equity market keeps bidding on it because we're speculative beasts. What we do, we bet on things. And so again, continuing to use things that are linked to another market is a really great way to take advantage of everything that's going on. If you think the economy is going to keep picking up, then buy the shit in the equity market that's linked to it, right? Is that not what the whole value idea is? Is we're betting on the economy. It's the things linked to the economy. And so we continue to look for those, but we look for them in a more risk mentality, right? The best sort of way to look at that is things like travel, we've talked about, is linked to the economy reopening. Again, it can only reopen once, but to the fact that things will continue to pick up and get going. This is something that has still not retraced fully. And so we look at silly things like the death boat. This is you could put into a meme stock perspective, but it's directly linked to the economy. It has value, has plenty of points to retrace. So this is still an area that it checks all the boxes, and you can make money on it, right? Are you going to lose money on this if you held it for a few months here? No. Do you want to hold it for a few months? No, not really. I want to make the money quick and sweet, right? In these charts offer that because there's short-term volatility involved, right? And so again, we're still trying to get get our feet wet in a lot of the volatility, because that's where we make most of our gains in the short-term sort of spurts, right? Of course, the long-term positions are boring, not as fun for most of you. It's important that if you have a large portfolio, again, be active in those. I've talked about things like SPY-D, using the just dividends, right? There's nothing wrong with sitting in this chart, I promise you. But again, we do want to be active, and right now is a great active time. I've talked yesterday and said there's nothing wrong with chasing momentum on some of these tickers if you're in and out. If you're willing to take day trades or realize that you're not going to be able to at least hold over night on a lot of them, then there's nothing wrong with taking those trades. There's nothing wrong, and it's, again, the process here is to know what's out there and to be watching it. And the more tickers you have your eyes on, the better of a chance you are going to be able to capture the gain. That's what this moment's about, just like it was last year, what we saw in the summer, right? When that frenzy got going through all the way to basically September until we started getting big ideas sort of focused. It was nothing but bio tickers. This sort of, are we opening back up? And so we saw things like travel start to spike, right? Take advantage of the volatility here and the uncertainty of what's happening, right? You don't need to, but you can. It's there. It's on the table. Those that, again, say it's crazy are the ones that are not getting involved in the reality is that it's crazy not to be, right? Just like the market itself. It's crazy to say, well, it's at all-time high. I don't know how that's crazy. Why is it at all-time high? There's so many things going on. It's crazy not to be in all the time, right? So you need to capture gain sort of day to day, because the gains are not coming intraday. Today they might. We're opening at all-time high again. If we sort of look at this, we put the after hours on. We just did this, right? We just did this to start the week. Let's see if something similar happens where we take profit into it. I would imagine that we trade flat going into tomorrow. If we look at the bond market through yields, I talked about yields coming to the lowest point ever. They continue to go lower. This here, we're going to talk about more today, and we're going to watch it going into tomorrow. The difference here of coming into these CPI numbers and what we've seen before is that the bond market, it's like the Matrix. It's starting to believe, or let's say Neo, it's starting to believe the Fed. The Fed has said that inflation's transitory. The bond market didn't believe that was the case. So what happened? Major sell-offs. Yields were rising. They were gone, right? They were at it was going past 1.6, 1.7 on the 10-year, right? And so these numbers here, this is yields going down, the exact opposite coming into these CPI numbers, which means what? that they're not as worried about long-term inflation. Why? Because the Fed keeps fucking telling them so. And they've tried just about everything. It hasn't woken up Powell to say anything. No one has said anything at the Fed that indicates anything otherwise than, nope, this inflation is going to go away. With that being the case, right, we come back into a bit of a balance. The balance so far has been that portfolios have been set up through equities only, basically. The 60-40 of 60% equities, 40% bonds basically went away, and we started to go very heavy equity side. And you would hedge your stocks with more stocks. the meme of, oh, I'm diversified because I bought all 500 S&P 500 companies, which is, again, not diversification because everyone buys those 500 companies. That was the case here for some time. Let's watch and see if that maybe we'll see some bond action because, again, there's a belief that the Fed is right in that inflation, these numbers are just, they're going to be here and they're going to be gone before we remember. They don't matter. If that's the case, then there will be bond buying, which will lead to more risk-on behavior in the equity market. Why? Because no longer do you need to worry about the hedge side, which is directly the exact same you're risking on, but now you can push more risk. What would you buy if instead of risking growth with value stocks, you're now hedging it with bonds? You have a lot more room for risk, which means tech heavy sort of buys, which is why I keep talking about the mega caps being bid coming out of a retail sort of frenzy here, because those are the areas in which they will consume everything and they're not going to be infected either way. And there's still so much room for them to grow and sort of their size, and within this economy they excel, right? And so we could see some very risk-on behavior from institutions if they are starting to hedge with bonds going into numbers. It is not a risk-off sort of pivot. It's not a situation where they're going to start buying bonds because those are better than the equity market. Don't you think it's sort of setting the foundation to put some risk on in a market that continues to trade through all-time highs here, and that we've seen an economy that's booming, and that has anyone complained or been worried about anything since the new administration came in? They're fucking spending money left and right, putting policies through. They haven't obviously figured out how to do this infrastructure thing with Republicans, but they've now basically said, you know what, fuck them. We're going to just do it ourselves, which I don't really understand the dynamic of trying to get Republicans on an idea that they don't want to sign on when you have the numbers anyway. Like, if you have the votes to do something, why not just do it earlier? I don't know. Maybe they just fucking bullshit anyway. But the reality is that these things are going to happen, right? And so our timeline is still based on that spending, but we know those things are going to happen, right? It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. When? I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about this. El Salvador passed Bitcoin as as sort of a currency, right? Now, this is again, I've talked about it. Bitcoin is not in a place. Bitcoin is not in a place that I'm a buyer, right? I talked about we had downtrend, consolidation. Talked about the likelihood it's much more likely for it to come down further into the downtrend, just due to how we look at patterns, right? Now, I still will not get involved, and now there's a new risk, and I had to get some opinions, so I went to no better place than Twitter to read some knowledgeable facts. So this news came out. El Salvador is going to be accepting Bitcoin as a currency. If you remember back from when I've talked about this before, I've talked about the only way Bitcoin actually does what it's supposed to do and continue to trend up to the idea of 100,000 would be that it is never converted to an actual currency. It needs to remain a speculative asset, like an equity. If it becomes a currency, do you know what happens? It gets regulated. It has to be regulated because people do not want to have their goods and services change price every fucking 5 minutes. That's what happens in a volatile asset market. The prices change a lot because people are speculating on whether they go up or down. Do all of us here bet on whether the dollar is going to go up 10 or 20% a week. Imagine if your McDonald's burger, all of us fat fucks out there, we went to McDonald's and a Big Mac cost like $40. Would you buy it? Probably not. And it would suck. And you'd be like, well, I guess I have to wait till tomorrow to see if it'll be, a few bucks again. That's the reality of using Bitcoin as a currency. It's going to change every day. Do you know what that means? It means regulation. Will United States ever allow Bitcoin as a currency? If it did, it would be regulated, which would basically be what? It'd basically be like using the fucking dollar, right? Because you're going to have to buy Bitcoin with the dollar and then use the dollar or use the Bitcoin to then buy something that you could have bought with a dollar anyway. What happens when you start to use something that's like something else? It starts to become that thing. It doesn't matter if it's deregulated now, it becomes regulated through the fact that it needs to track that price. Have you ever seen another world government create its own currency? Do you know what happens? It goes and tracks the US dollar. They start to come more one-to-one. Do you know how currency markets work? It's all a game of trying to find a median, an equilibrium between currencies. They set in stone a ratio. Yes, it may cost 30x currencies for $1, but it stays very close to that 30-to-1 ratio for its entirety because that's just good fucking business and price it. You don't want to have it be changing all the time. The way in which we understand currencies right now, and the reason why our government is willing to spend more money than, like I like to say, in human history in fucking 1 year, basically, is because we have a fiat currency that we completely have control over and that is so impactful and used by the entire world that no matter how much money supply we dump into it, it's not going to cause a shift in wanting another currency. People don't all of a sudden go, well, the money supply tripled, I'm going to go convert into rubles because, you know what? I don't know. It's just kind of what I want to do. It's, it's scary to think that there's more dollars out there than there were before. No one's doing weird things like that. That doesn't make sense, right? And so no matter how much we fuck with the money supply, it doesn't do anything. We don't have to pay back for what we printed. It doesn't work like that. There's obviously supply and demand there and the way it changes, but show me the price change. Show me the price change. The dollar went down a little bit, yeah? Did your prices all of a sudden change? Your prices went up. We're looking at CPIs right now and the prices are going up with inflation. How is that possible if we increase the money supply by 3 times? That's because it's a fiat currency. It's regulated. Things are at a status quo always. If Bitcoin becomes a currency, it will not exist because that's the exact opposite of what Bitcoin's supposed to be, right? Yet I do see that there's this want and need for Bitcoin to become basically the universal sort of coin. Do you know that we already have that? We have that. It's called the US fucking dollar, right? The greenback. We actually have that. And it's in your digital bank account, right? And you pay it with a plastic card or most likely just your phone, right? This dynamic just started, right? We'll see if somebody else comes out and says, you know what, we're going to use Bitcoin as a currency. We know why they're doing it because some of these places, again, are having these rough inflation problems with their own currencies, and it's a lot easier to accept the US dollar, which via Bitcoin, right? It's hard to go and have people use the dollar in El Salvador, technically, and you can just have them use Bitcoin, right? Which is what? How do you think they're going to cash out their Bitcoin gains? How does a business cash out Bitcoin gains? Do they cash it out in El Salvador's currency, or do they cash it out with US dollars? These things are pretty straightforward, right? And so again, it's an asset. And if it's not an asset, you will not see this price. Bitcoin will not be this price if it's a currency. This is an asset. This is a speculative sort of situation that could turn on its head into a currency one. So keep that in mind as that discussion goes forward, especially if you're a very big crypto bull. I'm obviously a big fan of crypto, but understand that that dynamic is not one to fuck around with, in that I would not want to be involved if it's a currency, because I don't sit here and buy the fucking euro or the yen all day, because I understand that there's pennies to be made there, because that's the whole point. it's money to spend, not to. You could bet on it, but no one fucking makes money doing that. That's the reality. So we'll see the dynamic. I think it's interesting. I hope that obviously works out, but we will see. In terms of this morning, we don't have much, so we're going to be waiting to see what happens in the bid. In terms of whether or not all-time highs get going or not, we just sit here and wait. So let's see what we get, folks. Oh, we get a couple good mornings here I missed. Oof. Where's the bot? It's up there again. We're right there. I'm on the fence that people want to do anything before tomorrow, though. When will we look to enter SPY? Is that a meme? We buy everything all the time. All right, here we go, boys. Again, big day tomorrow, so most likely neutrality. Also, a lot of funneling into the bond market. So we're probably going to be watching bond prices all day. Again, the action is going to be on the retail trade side, so we'll see what pops up here. Don't really see anything happening so far, but let's see what we get here. The other area again, or the other topic that needs to be mentioned again this morning is you're going to get some sort of volatility tomorrow because, again, there's big economic numbers coming out. This is a good point to look at your transitions and say, hey, maybe I can take some of this home, right? Had the stats in the bank account. Nothing wrong with taking some of that to re-enter it based on tomorrow's prices, or at the very least being aware of what you can risk through, right? There's no problem with continuing to push a long position, just like I'm pushing all my long positions. But on the more risky side of things, I'm aware that that volatility that's pushing my prices up so quickly to the upside due to volatility can just as quickly be volatile to the downside, whether it's good or bad. It's just a very sort of short-term sort of price movement that on a long term wouldn't matter, right? If it went up 1 or 2% a day, doesn't matter. On a short-term position that I'm looking to only go one way, I understand the risk involved. I want to take the money home when I can, right? And so those of you that are in positions like that, again, be aware of your timing here. It's the fucking middle of the week. You get no problem with taking some money to go re-enter on Friday or something over the weekend. Put your risk back on. But just obviously you got to always be aware that there's a difference between sitting in a long position, like I just sit in energy, I just sit in banks, I sit in my SPY D position, sit in my gold position. Nothing wrong with doing that. But my positions like travel, retail stores, right? We've seen things like fucking Wendy's. Do you think like I'm gonna sit in the Wendy's position? Like, you think I'm gonna sit in here going into some volatility? Probably not. I'm probably good. I'm fucking good. I'm all right. I'm gonna get out of here, right? Like these things are like, there's again a point where the percent really fucks with your mind. If you got 100% gain on the underlying, if you're still in, you're nutty, right? That's like the AMC thing. If you're trying to make this work right now, you're just nutty. I was out back here because I don't care what happens here. I'm just more interested in the overall sort of volatility that's going to create and how much fun people are having. I think everyone forgets most of this is to have fun, guys. This is to have fun. I really think that this is more fun than it is to become rich. You know, I don't think people buy it. I think there's people out there that are like the cult people that I joke about a lot, and then there are people out there that think they can somehow beat the rest of the market at this game. Okay, fine. I mean, they're not They're not going to. You'll get lucky, right? 90% of this is having fun. Absolutely. 90% is fun. And that's the thing, that the memes are the biggest part of this. It's so important to remember that the memes sort of fuel this. It's to have fun. That's it. But remember that these percents mean nothing. They mean nothing. 706% means nothing. None of these percents mean a thing, right? There's a point at which the percent becomes basically mute. It doesn't really matter. It's about what the chart looks like. We get for the next 5 minute here. The thing to mention again is we've had this shift towards a growth recently, right? And we talked to things like clean energy starting to catch a little bit more bid, and we do need to answer that question of specifically, is this just retail buying, and how good of a fucking position is this to get into, right? This happened around what time? This happened around the time that GME was peaking, AMC was peaking, right? This part of COVID was a different story because of the way in which we were betting on clean energy to really be taken to the next level. We don't really have that in policy yet. Policy is very big question mark. This is a big question mark, this breakout right here. Keep that in mind when you trade this. This is not a trade you can go push for 3 months. This is a week to week, if not a day-to-day position, right? And it's very influx and very much like what we talked about with transitory inflation. This is a transitory move on clean energy. Show me the news in which clean energy changed in the last week. Thought you brokered a lifetime supply of tendies. Sending wind to the moon. Yeah, I mean, somebody did. You know how they used to give out those Subway for Life gift cards? Somebody got a Wendy's one. STC continues. So the our meme edition stocks are putting moves on. Let's just take a look through the list right now. I don't really want to mention too many specific things. I didn't even post most charts because I just wanted to show you that there's a lot out there, and it's more about being aware of everything, right? And understanding. So it's kind of hard to look at some of the technical side of things, and I mean the trend lines don't, in some of these cases, for some of the more retail heavy buys, they're going to change so quickly they don't really matter too much, right? Keep that in mind. See, anything that it strikes us a bit here. ASO, retail, again, retail stores, right? Apparel, things, food and beverage, all consistently been going up this week into CPI numbers. That needs to be continued to be understood as, okay, no matter what these numbers are, it's good for equity market, right? Also, the bio move, it's very important to understand the way in which that volatile sector works. It's had a very volatile move to the upside. Take profit does not mean, again, take profit is a part of the entire, it's a part of the entire process anyway. It does not mean all of a sudden they no longer have that value, right? And so some of those are going to be difficult to read for sure. But I'm going to say this again. Do not fall in love with the stock. Okay? Do not fall in love with the stock and chase dogs. Do not sit on something that you think you believe in is going to be the next great, fucking, I don't know, bio stock or whatever stock it is, and then sit in it and lose all your gain, right? Understand there's a point of pushing a winning, and then there's a point of watching it be a loser, right? It's not like watching your kid suck at sports and you go anyway, even though he sucks, right? No one's going to make fun of you for watching your kid suck at sports. It's your fucking kid. In this scenario, it's a stock. It means nothing. Okay? It's just a price. People buy it, people sell it. No one cares about it. Okay? Keep that in mind. Some of you are watching your gains go away probably right now. Keep it in mind that if it's not in your bank account, it doesn't exist. It's just in your mind. I don't know. Some of you might get off to it, but oof. Careful out there. McKay just mentions WKHS. It's all of them. Again, the important point, it's all of them. It's not just one. It's all of them. Who the fuck is buying everything? Everybody, right? That's it. Everybody. Everybody's buying something. Okay. Now, yields continue to come down. Bitcoin's holding. Europe's down a bit. To be expected going into economic numbers tomorrow, or ECB talks, right? Again, what will push us through all-time high? Fucking basically Apple and Amazon if they wake up, and mega caps continue to trend to the upside. Right. That's almost that's almost it. Again, anything else that's putting like 100% or something on, they don't matter. Those are such a small amount of money. Tiger bouncing back from yesterday, continuing the move. Again, those probably a lot of you might have missed my talk on active managers, sort of active investment. These basically these firms that we think of not like a Vanguard, but the other side of the coin, which is active. And when we think about big institutions, this would be, again, like a bank dynamic, but they're not banks. They're not banks. But this finance side of things that's active has basically been at the lowest point of flows ever. And so, but with that being said, even though less people are putting money into their accounts, they are gaining more in profits than ever. And that's an important dynamic to realize that, okay, people are putting less money into, let's call it like a hedge fund. We'll call it active managers, right? People are putting less money into active managers, right? They're putting into ETFs because ETFs are easier. But the profits of active managers are going up higher and higher as those flows go down. You get to a point where the profits are going to be good enough to attract people back, which is why we see these asset managers. That's what we call a sector. Asset management is going up. And so it's an important dynamic to realize that these are areas that these trades will be put on for a very long time. And so something like Target coming out of the low here, this is an order that's consistent. Obviously, there's retail buying and shit right now, but just realize that this sector, I think, is something to watch and to think about, because just like I talk about and how all of us have a benefit of being able to get in and out of positions, so do active managers. They can get out of trends. They can start new trends. That's an important factor to realize coming out of COVID, because do you know what hurt those investment sort of places the most during COVID is that they were stuck in their position. If you're active, you could get out. Now, they had pretty bad strategies. They were very quant heavy, and basically all the quants told them to take the L when that didn't really make much sense. So they were a little slow. But once they started getting heavy buying in that summer, right, started doing well. But I am very, very interested and bullish on that side of things, right? Our bio ETF continues to go up today, so even after all these moves, we're continuing this week. Which, again, we don't need to ask the question of, is it going to go up like double again? That doesn't really matter. Is it going to go up? It's trending up. Yes, that's what matters. PayPal through 266. Nice. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. Things like this, trading into a range, or in between a range, and you got to make it through resistance, and we're at the border of all-time high all-time high will push most things further, right? But it's always a question. We gonna make it through? Facebook inside day so far. There's really nothing to talk about in terms of individual tickers. Let's see what the sell side we have. What's going on down here? We had a gap down. EMC still not doing much. Still not doing much. And so again, that 6% means literally nothing. Most retail just, again, buying other things currently. Let's see. GE, what do we have? Let's see. So after the transition here, let's see. Again, we found these trend lines. Found these trend lines here with the conversion of supply into this point. We were looking at it. We go, you know what? That's the point right there. And what do? We find a trend line to transition on, which again means we take profit going into resistance. Again, you sell resistance, buy support, right? So we took profit on resistance. What were we looking to do here? We were looking to buy once it passed through the trend line. It didn't. So you don't have to buy more. This here, you're probably getting very close to getting another buy. We've obviously, so I've said the blue chip idea plenty of times. Buy blue chips. Buy blue chips. In terms of candle formations, this is close. It's close. I don't know if I like. It's pretty close. It's pretty close to the point at which I usually would buy things. I don't know if I want to buy it going into tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I buy. BA dicking around with this support. So on the sell side, not much going on. Ford is a good mention. Trading in between these trend lines, we have two different levels of supply. This is the long-term one. So this is the one that matters a little bit more. You can see it interacting with it here. So two trend lines being interacted with. This range will open up through here, which, so again, you have, when you talk about a range of potential and then downside range, it's pretty clear which way price wants to go. But another opportunity there for a swing trade, I would say. Higher low already on its trend line support. That's an easy buy. So I don't know if I need to mention it, but yeah. Anything else on the sell side? I would like to buy some things on dips, you know. Don't really have much though. Same with, again, AAL. I've been talking about it. This low here being created, it's a nice spot. Even going into CPIs tomorrow, I think I've said enough about travel going to the upside. It's just more of a time horizon question. Bios continuing. Again, just a bullish sector, man. Oof. Anything else to note? Moderna, obviously. I don't think I need to say anything else about Moderna. They talk about it every day. Because of the vaccine they put into me, so obviously I have to talk about it. Okay, pot stock's an interesting move today as well. Okay, just retail doing a great job today. Great job. SDC did get rejected at 1036. We'll see if that breaks through or not. It's more interesting above there. Above $10 is always more interesting for options anyway, right? So looks like we're all-time high in it. It's pretty close. Pretty damn close. Let's go. Again, no resistance up in the all-time high. No supply, only bid. Find your nearest ask price. Click it. That's all-time high. Big Amazon vibes right here, going into CPI numbers. If you're not a part of the mega caps, you should question a lot of things. if you're if you prefer in a longer term view, right? Or even in just a fundamental view, something that hasn't happened over something that is happening. Yikes. This launch and liftoff is obviously due to Bezos flying in a rocket next month. It's a nice move. That's going to be enough. That will be enough between these two to push us into all-time high and create more demand intraday here. The timing is going to be very interesting. We've got 10 minutes till 10 Eastern again. That should be enough to push us through. The consumer side is taking profit, I see. Banks taking some profit. So here we go. We have some transitions of portfolios right now as yields continue to go down. Now we're getting frothy. So we have some value selling into tech buying. Let's see what that rotation sort of spells into. Did you bid for that extra seat? Who is going to be the one that flies with the Bezos brothers? Yikes. Why don't they just go by themselves? Gonna ruin your experience bringing some turd with you. And I wonder how much someone's willing to buy for it. Or how much to pay for it. You can go full. We're gonna have other ways to fly to space very soon for cheap, like 250,000. Don't go pay 10 million for a seat right now. Even if you are rich, who cares? All right, looking for the bid back up. We do have some things getting going on the growth side for sure. Today's date 6/9. Going into these June monthlies is going to be nutty. Okay, this volatility is way, I mean, it's not really volatility, but the moves that we have going on is a lot more interesting than I expected the day to be. So we do have sort of this changing of gears, I guess you can say, going into tomorrow. Some bond buying. Wonder how much risk buying we're going to have. Probably going to be a lot. I think you're going to get a... We're probably going to get some, you know that thing at McDonald's, Big and Nasty? Or I guess it's called the Big and Tasty. We're about to have some Big and Nasty green candles. I would say. I would say. Some of you going, well, it's been going down. What are you talking about? It looks like it's red. What do you mean? Okay. We buy everything all the time. Just buy everything all the time. If you're not in a position, what are you doing? You gotta be in every day. Hey man, I've already bought everything. I have no more money. How can I buy more? Fucking, I don't know. Sell the house. Take a loan out. Sell the things you're in, and that's new money, and then buy it again. Have a couple kids, take out some student loans. Use the student loans to fuel your never ending desire to buy equities. And then have some more kids and have them take out student loans and continue that process. What is that chart? Eesh. Oops. Really waiting for Apple to put the move on, I think. Unfortunate that we have so much of a percent in one company, but waiting for that to move the damn average. Really want to find something to buy on a dip. Maybe some semis, you know? That's fine. Do the story of the VIX again. Here's the spot VIX index in January. The last time we did the meme move. It looks just like the equity market going bid. AMC, GME go up hundreds of percent. So does the VIX. This time, no volatility. No one cares. It's normal. We watch and see if that changes, right? But that's a good indication of things are getting, I don't know, wild out there in the streets. I would love to go bid right now at all-time high. Feel it. But the market just wants to trade flat going into economic numbers. Bunch of cucks that want to wait for, inflation numbers, big ECB meeting. Everyone's already in position, so they don't have to worry about missing something. People are buying bonds, boring. Probably flipping houses. It's probably pretty fun right now, flipping houses. Go bid on some houses on Zillow just to sell them 30 minutes later. Don't even look at them. Don't even know what the house looks like. All right. We're in 10 o'clock. Let's see. See if we get a different story coming out of the early open. The reason I said we're going to see a bunch of green candles again, you have this early action dedicated towards the bond side of things with yields going down, nullifying some of the last few weeks of price action. That should lead to some buying on the equity side, more risk. And we haven't really seen much this week. We're just kind of hanging out. Other than retail traders, obviously. Like banks found their low, down 1% on the day. Energy up 40 basis points, continuing. PG up 1%. Funny. Looks like red's about to break that trend line. 22.76 or so. The memes cannot be stopped. Anywhere. Nowhere. Bad news for pharmacies. For Amazon taking up pharmaceutical sort of stores. Well, apparently it doesn't matter, does it? What's next? Let's see. I don't want to put some short-term bets on. I think we're gonna get some pops. Maybe some bets going into tomorrow. I don't know if we have to do it yet, though. Don't have to do it yet. Okay, 5-minute candles below. I can't watch that shit. Ugh. This is how boring it is right here. There you go. Idle. Idle at the high. Okay. Forward's coming up the trend line. What about things? Retail stores coming up off the open. Urban was down, coming up off the low. Okay, Macy's up, for instance. Retail stores are continuing. They're fun places to be a part of. Small caps obviously continue to lead through the high. Pretty close to all-time high as well. We talked about this similar to the Dow. Dow is close to all-time high, but it's been subdued. Small caps getting some of that gain, right? A little bit of a shift from big banks to regional. Let's see. Hot stocks do look good. I mean, it's a lot better than what we've been seeing. Retail definitely giving them a better push. But we know it's completely tied to short-term volatility. I think there's nothing interesting to look at, actually. Very boring. Or not like boring, but very dry. Very dry day so far. Besides some little bit of rumbling in the morning. Yeah. The prophecy was true. Don't do anything into tomorrow. Stay in your positions. QFIN is launching right now, by the way. More pharmaceuticals. Jesus. Chinese tickers are still a no-go. Nothing to do here. Just kind of, it gets sadder and sadder in this area. Yeah. Because this chart looks like this. What is that? I don't know. Don't know. All right, looks like it's gonna be a nice lazy day. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to do much. I don't see Bitcoin taking over the world right now. What's going on? Too many other fun things to buy. I once was a part of the GME cult. I was a part of the Bitcoin cult. Then I was a part of the Doge cult. Now I just buy everything in the equity market. I'm an everything kind of guy. A chart's a chart. Am I right? Sorry. Let's see. Let's see. Yields are kind of chilling a little bit, so they might be heading back to a little bit more towards break even. Let's take a look at some trading view ideas. Let's see what we got. The characteristics of market structure and a trend. Okay, I like trends. This is by Superior Trends. Hello, fellow traders and investors. Today, I have worked hard for you all in order to devise a breakdown and intricate analysis of the attributes of market structure during a trend. I've worked very hard, he says. What am I looking at? This is the trend? Now, do this before it happens. Okay. There wasn't really much to say there. Just summarizing. Ape Index. What is this? The Ape Index. AMC plus GME plus Clove plus WKHS plus BB plus BBBY. Holy. There's an Ape Index. As you can see on this comparison, red weeks on the Bitcoin chart have been followed with proportionally large green candles on the Apes Index. Bitcoin goes down, the other one goes up. That's what I've been saying. I agree with you, bud. I'm gonna give you a like. Where's the like button? There you go. Big one for you, bud. Uh-oh. I will give a hint. It starts with naked and ends with shorts. These cultists, I'll tell you. Never mind. I retract my like. They're a part of a cult, I'm telling you. Bitcoin's ready to go higher. He drew a fucking box that is not connected with anything. Not even connected to anything. There's literally nothing in there. There's like, what, 5 candles that kind of touched them? What is okay? Okay. Next. Okay, what's this? It's a video I don't want to watch. Oh, what do we got here? Euro USD, short it. Holy. What is, I can't even zoom into this chart, by the way. It's all about the clout with these. It's all about the clout with these trading view users. I can tell. They all. It's like when you tell your buddy like, or guys call each other boss. Like, thanks, boss. You know, you're just trying to get clout from each other. Like, oh yeah, nice one. That was a really good one. Looking for further drops on Tilray. What the fuck is this, boys? You gotta stop. This has to end right now. It's gotta end right now. I have a 43-inch monitor and I can't fucking see a thing. It's gotta end here. It was a good run, but now it's over. Zigzags are happening. Sea wave inbound. Now that aside, Fibonacci in crystal clear green and invalidation noted. Is always in red. What? Okay, these are the Fib. Great. Thank you. Okay. Really no quality stuff, I'm telling you today. Okay, this guy looks like he might know what he's talking about a little bit. Let's see. You can't tell me it can go up and down. You gotta tell me one way. All right. What do we got here? What is this thing? Look at this one, guys. This is called an ascending base, this loopy thing. A short stroke. I like that. I like that one. Uh, what is this thing? Pullback. Okay. Okay. Oh, we finally found someone with a fucking circle. Holy. They did it. The fucking madman did it. Oh my god. Look at this shit. The case for Bitcoin has got a lot more bullish for me after looking at these charts. Holy. What the fuck am I looking at? Where is the price? I like this one though. It almost looks like they didn't actually use the tool and they drew it because it's a little wiggly. Wow. Pretty cool. All right. I gotta start making some posts and see if I can get some people to respond. Maybe get some people mad. I should really just start arguing with people all the time. I don't know what's wrong with me. I sit here, make money, do nothing. I'm like bored because I have nothing to do. I could just be arguing with people all day. All right, anything on the sell side? Rides down 12, Kodak down 10, Wendy's down 10, AMC down 8, BB down 6.5, Triple BY down 5.5, Nikola down 4.5. Meme stocks are taking a dip. Meme stocks taking a dump. Percents don't really mean anything though. On the bid side, it's mostly riddled with healthcare, bio, and tech. Right? Mostly tech heavy today. Nasdaq does not give you the greatest view of it, but this is up 20 basis points on the day. Fueled by, well, we'll see if this is coming up from the low, but it looks like it is. And Amazon doing very well today, sitting on support right now. Looks good. We'll see. We have things like Twitter putting moves on, right? Twitter up 2% on the day, coming out of its low from a while ago. Facebook, same low, but again, those will be tied together. You can imagine Snap will be making a very similar move. So we have some heavy tech things. I was looking at the Netflix chart, thinking about it a little bit. This is probably a good time to, if you want to take a trade from a low range, to do so. Again, we have this very, I mean, don't even need to draw the line in here, but you've got these very low ranges, right? Similar area here. There's just a ton of supply in here, right? What happens? This chart goes from a low up to the high, right? What helps start this move to the upside? All-time high action. That helps a lot. And so this kind of area, I might go put a little something like this on, just seeing what we've seen in the market when an institution or some trader out there is buying bonds this morning and thinking, okay, I don't really give a shit about in the inflation trade. Let me go put some risk on. They're going to look for big names in the tech side. This is, again, why I think most people will buy Apple, even though it just sucks to go buy something so sort of bland. But you have things like Netflix out there. We've talked about things like eBay in the past. Twitter's there at a low, right? These are all offering continued moves. But the thing to still remember is that you got to be a part of the leaders. So that doesn't mean don't be a part of the leaders to go buy something else. No, that stay in those positions if you're in them. But there are other opportunities out there, I would say, from lows. How we doing on banks now? This coming off the low. We'll see if my trend line is true on OSTK. EA continues. Talked a little bit about this idea again of games and how it draws with inflation, and it's kind of they don't really go together, but there's a lot of ways you can look at it. One, that inflation is fueled by spending, right? And so people are going to be spending shit on shit. EA continues is the point. We were looking at that earlier. Oil just continues. I mean, with these oil prices going up, I'll tell you, like it's here to stay. We are very well positioned though for today. Looks like well positioned for going to tomorrow. Wondering about some of the bios, like my Moderna position. I have not touched that. And I've said the transition word so many damn times. Wonder if I should do something with that. one of those ones that I don't want to miss it. And if I had more cash, the real fucking pro way to transition these trades is to buy more, like right now. And then once that's completely filled, start to sell your other position, right? But it's kind of hard to just create cash out of nowhere when you're already positioned, right? You gotta take profit and then buy more. Very low volume. Very low volume. Very low. Looks so normal. It was very normal. Again, removing the percent, this is down 7%, just looking at candles. Pretty normal looking, right? Not very volatile at all. It's just the spread's hard to understand. The spread's wide because it's hard to tell how much more demand's coming in, right? You don't know how many more people are going to be trading it, and so the spread stays wide. It's not. You would think that with more volume, there'd be more liquidity to stay tight, but it's so, again, this equation, even though this is down, is so heavily sided to the bid side. It's just not even close, right? Anytime you go look at bid to ask, there's just so many more bid. In the sense that people are buying, not that they're selling with putting a bid order up, but they're buying the bid. There is no bid to buy. you have to you have to go to the ask price. That's the best way to put it. There is no bid to buy. You gotta go up there. Even when it's going down, there's no bid to fucking buy. You gotta go fucking jump to the ask. Give it to me. Go, 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 go. So flat. So flat. Wait, wait. Tiger now 9.25 on the day, 9.5 on the day, 10 on the day. See ya. Give me more. All right, what else? And if we do get all-time high, the day will change from this very flat day to a very big one quickly. All up to the megas. What do people want to do? Want to wait till tomorrow? From a looking at looking at just this here from a trading perspective, there's 100 different reasons to buy and basically no reasons to sell other than to be able to buy more. So again, still just looking at where we are. Important to realize that even for those that are just entering the market, it's everything is very just viable. There's just nothing out there that says don't buy me. You could make an argument for anything. Which is why I'm surprised we don't see more of those trading view idea things being like, buy this, buy that. You can get away with just saying buy anything and it will probably go up and you'll look right. Which is what I do. I just basically list fucking hundreds of tickers and then they go up, right? You get a pretty good chance they're going to go up, right? We try to find specific times when to buy them, but I mean, other than that, I mean, they mostly fucking go up. Because that's what the equity market does. And when we go into all-time high here, it's going to be more of that. More reasons to buy, less reasons to sell. Come on, give it to us. We haven't had intraday action, which is kind of what I'm craving. I want to see actual buying through all-time high and then putting us on that path for the day. We're just all everything is week to week at this point. Some intraday action, not just on retail tickers, some market interaction. Those were the days. Those were the days. What's Trevor Milton up to these? God fooled us all. I'm just a fooler, dude. I'm here to yank the chain. I'm kicking my can down the road. I don't know about you guys. And who knows what that guy's doing. Fucking, he's probably pushing trucks down hills still. Pushing his cash down the hill. What the fuck was that? I wish. Looks good. Nice pullback. The market's going bid. Might as well buy it, right? I don't even know what it is. Looks good. Go ahead. Or we're going to come up here. 15. Rated to 15. Call it good. Call it a day. Rated to 15. Call it a day. Good one. Good call out. I'm just going to stay in my big boy positions. Watch the market go through all-time high. Make a few mil. But you could definitely fucking make money right here. For sure, though. Actually, though. There's a there's 155 million other apes that have already fucking traded it today. You definitely can. There's definitely someone else that will buy your position. Trade that bad boy right up to here and go buy it right now. This is dumb shit. It's always funny when you get some of the meme stocks that open so high and then pull back. It's the most obvious thing in the world what should be done. You don't even need to time it right. They're all going to do the same thing. As soon as that green candle actually sits there and it's actually true, and it's usually you only need like a 5 minute. As soon as there's a green candle, they go, oh, hold on a second. Wait a fucking minute. Everyone's buying it again. Fucking apes. And they start pounding your chest. Fucking apes. Let's go. Let me in. Fuck. Sell it. Sell it. God, I just love to think about somebody on their phone in their bed right now, fucking curled up on their side, trading this shit. Just sweating their fucking bollocks off. Oh, come on. I'm gonna be rich if it goes up another 30,000%. That's the best part about this shit, is that it has to go up so fucking much. It has to go up so much. It's like the GME thing. It's like, one guy became rich. What do you mean? One guy. On the backs of all the other apes. Amazon was the better buy here. So whoever bought that, you fucked up. Big mistake. Uh-oh, just kidding. Sell Amazon. I'm just gonna start doing reactions to every candle. I think that's really the good way to do it. Some of these bios, if they look like they fucking belong, but they don't. Oh my god, we're looking at five. Get the 5 minute candles out of here. I mean, we're quite literally just being fueled by bios right now. Twitter's looking very good. I like that. I like that a lot. Coming up to the level, getting closer. This open range will be very nice. Oops, sorry. Whack this shit out of my mic. My $300. No. Exactly. What I'm saying. What I'm saying. What's actually going on here? Oh, look at, guys, it's one of those things. Look at it. It's one of these. You know how you draw the things here? That's what it is. It's this fucking go, go, go. See? Holy shit, there's so many of them. Wait a second. Hold on a second. There is a lot of those. JMIA going to the moon. Ford's been very nice off the trend line. That's a pretty good baseline now. Don't have to worry about it. What's going on here? Let's see. I do think that some of these COVID winners are gonna catch bid, and I just don't know when. I think they're just in such a at a low spot. Your zooms, I really do think, are going to continue. Just it's hard to tell what is actually happening in here. Like this makes sense, but this don't know. Is there actually anything volatility? Just nothing. Just no one wants to do anything with volatility anymore. Those poor, you know, who I really feel bad for, are all those volatility hedge funds and shit that they have literally nothing to do. I mean, imagine trying to trade this. What are you gonna do? I mean, it does basically one thing, and even when there should be volatility, there is none. Bond yields, we're still under 1.5, so we are at a low, at a very, I don't know how many months of a low it is, but it's pretty low. SDC looks like we're going to go attempt this level again, and if it breaks, it's going to probably go up another 10%, so keep that in mind, because there's quite the range there. Till you get into maybe something like 1176, so yeah, you get quite a bit of room. Nice trade so far. Again, creating our own meme. Our own meme stocks is always funner. How many bios? Too many. You can just buy anything that's got the word bio in it, and you'd be probably been made money this week. Can confirm. Jesus, we're like moving at the turtle pace. You'd think that we're having economic numbers tomorrow or something. Oh, 423. If there's a bid, there's a way. What they say. That's gotta be it, right? That's gotta be it. Are we gonna set in stone the melt up launch here? What are these people doing down there? Shut up. Holy. Honking all morning. Trying to enjoy this nice summer breeze blowing through my window on my bald dome. Fucking buses honking. A little bit of a tantalizing action on STC here. Little tingle. Pretty close. And there's some tech selling. There you go. There you go. All-time high? Not today. Led by our one and only true leader, Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook Inc. We will have to whip again. And by that I mean it's gonna be a flat fucking day. Which is technically good for us, but it's not as fun, admittedly. Meme stocks still have a chance for today to go bid. I imagine that they have plenty of ammunition saying that, well, now it's low, now it's a good time to buy. Hey guys, I'm starting to think that pen is not going to reach $200 anymore. You think after it topped out at about 140 back in March, it's kind of looks like all those other tickers? Yeah, kind of. Be quite the story if it reached 200 by July here. What is this? AEMD. Up 420%. How do they do it? How do they do it? Hmm. Pretty impressive. Geo, by the way. I don't know. I don't know. Up like 70% or something? All right. How high can bios go? That's my one question. How high can this actually go? Do I care? Am I gonna lose money if I don't put more money in? I just don't see that happening. Can't see that. Talked about it happening. It got delayed. Have to pull our trend line out. Then I put that, updated it for you guys, but it's the same damn thing. I already posted before. Is it going to happen? We have the rumblings that have started. I think we stick with our view. Gonna trend. You know, seeing the future is not easy. See a lot of fucking green though. Holy. Red, 3.25. Viacom possibly waking up. All up to Apple. Are we doing it? I've asked this question a lot today. We're in position. We're just waiting for you, old buddy. Can you just give us the points? Just give it to us today. Really don't want to wait until next week. Google, give us some more. You're already up 55% in 5 months. Come on. Okay. Sideways trading. We got we got it. We got it. Our favorite bios, putting points on them. Smaller tech companies putting points on. Take profits on some of the, let's put it, heavier meme-focused meme stocks. We do see a lot of consumer side things up going into CPI numbers for tomorrow. So at least people are a little bit bullish on the inflation idea. And we've seen some bond action this morning that lends to investors believing the Fed on the transitory sort of thesis. They will, of course, be put to the test tomorrow when we have more numbers that confirm inflation is going up, increasing. We'll see if they have the same stomach for it tomorrow. This afternoon, Okay, well, we're continuing to put bid that looks like it's going to all-time high. But I think we're just getting dicked around here. We're just kind of trading. We're still just completely flat. The market should be trading through all-time high. The melt up lunch is the most probably common looking thing ever when you're at all-time high, but we're still just sitting here. We'll talk about it this afternoon, see what actually happened. The best position is to be in position, no matter what it is. Obviously, we're ratioed out a little bit, but I would say mega caps right now are the ones to gain for all-time high. And specifically what we saw with bond, most action is going to be riskier. So those positions that are a little bit more risk oriented towards the growth side are probably going to see attention. So we'll talk about this afternoon. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your lunch. Not much to do here, guys. Not much to do here. So I'll see you then.